Alright, it's here, the warp. Let's open it very carefully.
Oh, he's got a thing in there.
Yeah, that's good.
Ah,
What color is this?
red.
Red.
Yeah.
And look, a red windsock.
Yeah. They got a red pencil.
Yeah.
This is a different cinch bag too.
No, that's huge.
It's a big bag.
Yeah, it is. For
It's
a
bigger than
tiny
the other
wing.
ones. And
Yeah.
Daddy got red just for you, baby.
Yeah.
You know, red.
I got red just for you.
Yeah.
This is a 60-meter demo warp.
I'm gonna put his other stuff
Okay.
in the box.
So let's compare.
You can put that.
Gonna do a quick comparison of the snake and the warp. I want to see. So this is the center of the wing and the center of the wing on the warp versus the snake. So the openings are 2 or 3 fingers. 3 fingers. Look at
You want to get technical? We can get
Look.
a blue one.
the thickness of the leading edge here. Is
Yeah.
This part is thicker
Oh yeah.
on the snake versus the warp.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know how well that shows on camera. The warp is thin. The Hadron was XX was a little bit thinner than the snake, but for sure the warp is like the Hadron XX, maybe even thinner. I think it's thinner. That is super tiny.
That is really thin.
Let's look at risers. All right, comparing the risers. We line up the A's. You can see the warps are about 2 inches longer. The snake has the 2 speed bar pulleys and then 1 pulley on the B. The warp has the 2 speed bars, which are different pulley. They feel like they run a little bit smoother on the warp compared to the snake XX. And then we have the B riser pulley, which runs to an A riser pulley. And then we also have a pulley on the C risers, which are the D's. Trim range, let's compare. It goes out to 15 on the snake, it goes out to 15 on the warp. The warp has magnets, whereas the snake has this elastic band. The warp has included stitching here on the trim strap. This rope here is the power attack disable piece. So if you want to power attack, you have to take this piece off. The A lines on the warp are actually thicker than the A's on the Snake XX. Alright, we need to go kite this bad boy. Yep, it's like the snake. It's trimmed slow, like the snake. Oh, super light brake pressure. Alright. Let's go send it.
Alright, so this is going to be like my final thoughts on the warp. So I've flown it, I think 4 or 5 times now. I spent 2 or 3 hours kiting it, and everything from getting drag conditions to calm conditions where the wing wouldn't stay up. And so yeah, thumbs up to the Warp. Hands down, the best wing I've ever flown. Just as far as like how much fun it is without being scary. So I put about 100 hours, 150 hours on a Hadron XX. I put about 50 to 100 hours on the Snake XX. And so I'm familiar with both of those wings. I demoed a free ride, 19 meter, which I should have had a smaller size, but I didn't. And when Dudek says that the Warp is a mixture of a Hadron XX and a Snake XX, they really mean it. They nailed it on the head with that. Stability-wise, it's less stable than the Snake. It has a lot of, like I said, it rolls faster than the Snake XX, and it has like a power steering kind of effect, like the Hadron. And so you get a lot of this movement in your harness, in the bumps, but what you don't get is the pitch. The wing doesn't shoot forward through the bumps with the trims in. If you trim out, then the wing does it a little bit more, but the reflex, catches it, and it doesn't let it overshoot too much. But yeah, it doesn't pitch forward. The free ride that I flew was constantly like shooting forward. And I didn't like that. I felt like I always had to have some brake pressure on, so the wing didn't shoot forward and catch a front lap. What else? Speed, top speed. My GPS measured today, and I got about 50, right at 50 miles an hour out of the wing. Similar, same motor, same me on the Snake XX, I get about 43. So 43, I get about 7 miles an hour more out of the Warp than I do the Snake XX 16 meter. It's pretty significant. I love that right now I'm trimmed out some so I can penetrate, let the reflex work its magic through the bump, and just cruise. And then when I get to where I'm going, I pull out my speed bar, and I still have the full power attack range, just like I did with the Snake. I love that. Efficiency-wise, it's about the same as a Snake XX or a Hadron XX. They're so close that it's hard to say which one's more efficient because they... Alright. I'm trimmed out a little bit. I'm just going to touch this tip steering line. Watch this turn. Ready? 180 degrees. It's insane. I'll get down here and do the dragon. It's still a little bit bumpy out here. That's crazy though. I'm trying to film while I play drag. I wonder what the wing's doing. It feels like it's dancing around quite a bit. More than the Snake does. Similar to the Hadron, maybe even a little bit more than the Hadron. But, that's a trade-off. Do you want it to roll fast and be super maneuverable, or do you want stability? It's hard to have both, so I feel like Dudek has a great balance in this wing of stability to maneuverability. I like it. I'll try and film while I do this. We'll see what we can get. Alright, full speed bar. Alright, first speed bar. I think you can see the control. people here. We have arrived at the perfect location for our reserve if we have to, at the red sand. Do some barrel rolls. See if we can get it on camera. And a left one. And continue around to the left. And a right one. And just a right wing over. And I got time for like a baby. That is so easy. I don't know if you can see my brake movements. It's nothing. Just a little touch, and it flips right over. The control of this thing is insane. I'm going to put this camera on my head. Alright, let's do some macro. To the left this time. And a right barrel roll. And a left barrel roll. We got time for one more right barrel roll. Finish it with a baby wing over. And a baby wing over left. Let's hit these dudes. Hit the gap. Watch it. Just killed it, man. Let's get in this trail. Trying to get these guys from racing. I'd say this wing is not for you. If you cannot do controlled wingovers yet, controlled meaning you can make them as big or as small as you want to, and you know the limits of your wing that you're flying and your gear. If you could do controlled wingovers, I think you could handle this wing. Just take it easy when you go out. I think it's important to understand reflex wings and how they work, especially for these advanced wings, because if you get it wrong and you make your wing collapse by using the wing improperly, then the consequences are much higher than if you were to do that on something like a speedster. So what I mean by that is, if you're trimmed out or you're on speed bar, power attack or not, if you are flying a reflex wing accelerated in reflex mode, which with this wing is either power attack, speed bar, or trimmers, then you need to stay off this orange brake line and not use it as much as possible. If you're flying through some bumpy air, don't touch your brakes if you're flying a reflex wing accelerated. Let the reflex do its job. If you pull any brakes through the bumps while you're flying accelerated, you're making your wing even more susceptible to a collapse than if you were just flying with the trims in. If you want to active pilot because you're in turbulence that's so strong that you're getting really nervous, pull your trims all the way in, stay up your speed bar, and active pilot. Don't do both. Don't active pilot while flying your reflex wing accelerated. You're asking for trouble if you do that. A good way to test this theory is to tight your wing with the trims out, maybe not all the way, maybe halfway, and then pull the brakes, add some brake pressure, and then pull your A-line, and the wing will collapse. Now do the same thing, but don't pull any brakes. Let your trims out in reflex mode, halfway-ish, and then pull your A-lines without touching your brakes, and the wing should not collapse. It should just dip a little bit, and then return flying. The Warp is awesome. The Warp is awesome. It rolls faster than Snake and Hadron. Its top speed is faster. I like trimming out a little bit because you get that energy when you're full dragging. Like Woody had mentioned about the free ride, and people say about the Hadron. If you start to sink too low for whatever reason, and you pull the brakes, you can come up in altitude, 5-10 feet. The transvector comes down, but if you pull the trims in all the way, you don't have that because it's using every bit of surface area it has to create lift. So there's not much more left to give you with the brakes. Butter air, split drag all day. I'm drifting because I'm looking down. Let's go fast. With this trail. Left turn. 180 at this turn point. Go around the bush to the left. Downwind. Left turn. Right turn coming up. Left turn. Up for the highway. Dive back in. Right side of the road. Rudy, you said you wanted to see some NOE flying with the warp. You got it. I'll be trim out a little bit more. I'll get a little bit more speed this way. Power lines coming up. We'll do a 180 around the water tank. Or a 360, I mean. Do a 360 around the water tank. 1, 2, 3.